made no mistake to bring us together, speaking one language in various kingdoms and dialects. And that's the same of every other language. That's the same of the Igbos. That's the same of the Yorubas. That's the same of the Hausas. And mention them. And the only thing that will continue to make us to be an ethnic nationality is our penchant to want to remain together in unity and in peace. The Ijaw man, as we all know, is a peace-loving man. The Ijaws are those who love themselves and even love others. And that's why the Ijaw nation, maybe out of being so loving, has also remained a little bit backwards, in spite of the very natural resources that God has endowed in our land. But be that as it may, today I'm very happy because the old storm that gathered in course of the election of a new executive council to hand over the relay baton to the next has all fizzled away. Today, the new executive council has been presented to me, and by virtue of my office as the only governor that is having a territory that is made up of only Ijaws, it means that by accepting you in, I have also endorsed you. As the new executive committee that will steer the affairs of the Ijaw Youth Council for the next 3 years. Having accepted you, giving the approval of that election, one thing I do is not always to look back, but to always look forward. My advice to you is not to look back, but always be forward looking. Forward ever, backwards never. Whoever that has done whatever to you in the process of these elections, the one that will tolerate and will forgive. Have that spirit of forgiveness. Have that spirit to tolerate. For you to go far as a leader, you must have the spirit of tolerance and the spirit of forgiveness and the spirit of being patient. Otherwise, a lot will be wrong with your leadership. So, you are also dealing with a bracket of people who are very, very volatile. The youths. Even here, they showed it. They are giving immediate corrections when the IOIC, so the commissioners, commissioner, somebody said Congress. Okay, the MC said Congress. Immediately, everybody corrected. Say no, it's not Congress, it is a council. And so first let me, on behalf of the government, the prosperity government, and the people of Bayelsa State, congratulate you. And on behalf of all the Ijaws that have been balkanized into several other states, congratulate you. And for those who lost, who are here today, I also congratulate you. I told you people from the beginning that I'm a father to all of you. And as a father figure, it will be wrong for me to single somebody out and then begin to support that person. Virtually, most of you who contested this election are my children. Very many respects. Is it Ebilade Ekrefe? Is it Bologbo, Subai? Mention most of them. There are people who have worked with me, even as we continue this government. And I felt there would be no need. I also have hindsight of support that former governments have given, and it ended up in a fiasco. I will never forget the Udeng Seradri era, where the government decided to support Udeng Seradri. And at the end of the day, the East-West Road was blocked by our youths because they believed that the government has interfered, and that was not their candidate. And that matter continued until we went to Abuja to meet our leader, E.K. Clark. And E.K. Clark, I won't go to that because the cameras are facing me. Otherwise, it will appear as if I'm taking some vendetta against my junior brother, who is also a candidate of another party. But E.K. Clark sorted out. And because the governor at that time had already given his support somewhere, E.K. Clark said, okay, we cannot, at this point, disgrace the governor of the Ijaw nation. And I think that was how that matter was sorted out. And I have all of these experiences behind me. And that was why I chose to be neutral. And you remember when all of you came to Government House, all the candidates, I addressed you and gave you people the letter to everybody, and asked you people to do the needful. First of all, put Ijaw nation first and not yourself first. Because you all know and realize that you are not the first persons to be in the Ijaw struggle. There are several before you, some late. This struggle has spilled the blood of Ijaw youths, Ijaw elders. So if you come into Ijaw Youth Council, Ijaw National Congress, and you think that you may use it as a money-making organ, I am sure that at the end of the day you will regret. Because even the Ijaw land itself will not allow you. And if you succeed, you will not go too far. And so my advice to you is that you have taken an oath to be servants to Ijaw people, just as I have taken to serve the people of Bayelsa State, and indeed the Ijaw nation. From the day you have taken that oath to serve the Ijaw people, don't be their master. Be the leader that you are, and be the servant that you are. And some people say it is a leader-servant. So from now you know that you are the one who is serving. In humility, in respect, and in honor of the Ijaw people, of the Ijaw youths. That's one thing that the past national and particularly the central exco has done. Before we came in, there has been this issue of Beke, Ijaw youths, Beke, and Beke. Particularly on Azigboro Day, people will go and loot in the name. Azigboro never looted. And this past ESCO, to a large extent, has corrected that. And I believe that you and the new Central Zone ESCO will sustain that and even improve on the achievements that they have recorded. A lot of times, our youths are, like you rightly mentioned, some are being misguided. It's not as if they are lazy. No, they are not lazy. It is to guide our youths to the right direction. The right direction of making money. You don't need to go and do beke to make money. You don't need to go and do illegitimate things to make money. There are sometimes I have to call the Central Zone chairman when security reports will come that my youths have gone to close down a company. And I tell him that is not your function. You don't need to go to any company to close down. If you have issues of they not employing, you report to government. That's why we are working with you. And we will make sure that if there is a company there that is not employing our people, we will relate with them. And there are official channels of making it possible. It's only when that fails that most times you go and take the last resort. When NCDMB was employing, I had a whole lot of pressure. A whole lot of pressure. And I had to communicate with the executive secretary, who is also an Ijoman and a Bayelsa. It was only when I was made to realize that he had over 65,000 applicants across Nigeria. NCDMB is actually for the whole country. However, the number he wanted to employ is only 100. So put yourself in his position. And there was pressure coming from our youths, coming from everywhere on him. Of course, where they cannot see him, if we go through the governor, it will be possible. And at that point, I only can pity my brother who was the executive secretary. Because the pressures are coming not only from the Jaws, they are coming from all other ethnic nationalities and from the government at the federal level. And so if you don't understand, sometimes you can take wrong actions against somebody who is innocent. And so you must first of all understand and appreciate the issues before you take any action. And don't be in a hurry to take a decision. Don't be in a hurry. Otherwise you'll be taking the wrong decisions. This office has also taught me a lot, but growing up, God has made it so kind to me that I grew up from the ranks. Being what you are doing today in the Jaw National Congress as the first elected national organizing secretary of the Jaw National Congress. We traversed the length and breadth of the Jaw Nation. We saw the poverty in the Jaw Nation. And we were determined, like you are today, that things have to be corrected. And that was why we all gave ourselves to the commitment of the Jaw Nation. And I'm happy listening to you that we have actually handed over to people and the battle is continuing. So your commitment to the interest of the Jaw Nation must be above board. Above what you can gain from the Jaw Nation. It's what you can do to the development of the Jaw Nation, rather than what you can take from the Jaw Nation. That's why in this government, we have decided to take on things that some will ask, will you have the money to complete these projects? And I just say, God will provide. Because it will be like a madman who says, yes, I want to start and construct this road from Nembe to Brass. And are you sure you can? This is running into billions. Not 10, not 20, not 50, not even 100. And I said, yes. Everything begins with one step. And we started. Today, sand filling is almost 80% of the first half that we are taking. And we divided it into two. And we say we'll finish this first half, then we'll take the second half, which will take us to Brass. So set your goals. Set your goals. Some will look insurmountable. some will look insurmountable, but always have a very fair beginning. And by the time you start, I'm happy you have just told us you want to have a befitting secretariat of the Joy Youth Council in the heart of Yenagoa. Fantastic goal. And so many others that you may need to do. And more importantly, to the reorientation of the mindset of our youths. People who should be swimming in millions are satisfied with being paid 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira. Meanwhile, if you release that youth to actually do what God wants him to do, and he goes on to do that, rather than receiving 50,000 naira or 100,000, he may be able to bring in to himself 1 million naira or 2 million naira in a month. But because of his mindset, he believes that that 50, 100,000 naira is all. And I always say that our brothers in Igbo, if you give them 100,000, they will turn that 100,000 around to make it millions. Just a little store that they will start with. A little thing that they will start selling. Initially it looks like nothing. But after 1-2 years, go back to that place again. They are able to multiply it. And that's what I want our youths to do. It's not enough to look up onto any of our uncles and brothers. I'm sure that if all of us who are seated there do that, we will not be where we are today. And the only way for all of us is that the Joy Youth mindset has to be tinkered with. I know there are most of you who already have a positive mindset. A positive mindset of the growth and the development of the Joy Nation. Just as I've heard from you. And if that is it, then set your goals right. Pursue them in these 3 years. 3 years may seem a long time, but I can tell you that 4 years in my government now is like 1 year to me. We are going towards 4 years. You'll be too shocked before you realize 3 years is already catching up with you. And so from now, start and then have a running race with all the goals that you have set for yourself. Let me also use the opportunity to appreciate the immediate past Executive Council of the Joy Youth Council. They have done their best, even though we had a lot of internal wranglings amongst them, and most times we have to intervene to bring them to a conclusion. And they came to a conclusion, even the conclusion almost was becoming inconclusive. So I thank them, at least at the end of the day, they have concluded. And let me also thank the elders of the Joy Youth Council, former presidents and former youth leaders who also saw what was happening and decided to intervene severally on their own, and even came to hold meetings with me to ensure that we had a process that will bring up a new executive committee. So I appreciate all of you, those of you who are here and those who are not here. I appreciate and thank all of you for your various roles. Now, the problem we have in the Joy Nation is again elections. We were able to conquer that of the INC, and that election was one of the best elections because that election was in no way being rigged. We used the electronic system in that election. And I will recommend it even for the Ijaw Youth Council. To avoid this issue, because you see, we must be open to ourselves. When you win transparently, the issue of anybody challenging you and your legitimacy in office is not there. But when you want to leak, and that's why Nigeria is where it is, because rather than the people's will prevailing, people want to rig. We are going into a November 11th elections. And amongst us Ijaws, all you hear, we will kill, we will do this. I know that we will not allow that even as youths. We don't kill ourselves as Ijaw people. We want to kill to go and occupy an office. I've told everybody that I will not kill one person to be re-elected. And in the same vein, we'll also not allow anybody to kill in the process of these elections. And I'm happy that today you are here. Bayelsa is the homogeneous Ijaw state where Chief M.Y. Waritimi of blessed memories called it the Jerusalem of the Ijaw nation. We should all join hands to make sure that the November 11th elections is violence-free. And the elections will be transparent. We have all assurances from the umpires, INEC, that they will be transparent. However, as youths, we must also enforce that transparency. So I call on you not to take sides with me, as maybe some others would have said. But there's nothing wrong even if you take sides with me anyway. However, as an Ijaw organ, I want you to be neutral, but enforce transparency in the elections, so that at the end of the day, you will also be proud that the will of the people of Bayelsa prevailed. For us, we have heard your requests. It actually shouldn't have been for today. Today was just to receive you and to formally also, as a government, endorse you. But we have a saying here in Kolokuma, so you also use the opportunity to bring in one or two issues. And I think that when you come on another formal courtesy visit, there are some of those issues that we can discuss out of camera, so that we need to do what we should do as a government. But again, like I cautioned the outgone executive, if IYC and INC becomes too dependent on government, then you will be controlled by government. And if you are controlled by government, particularly for any reason, if we have a governor who is not committed to Ijaw ideals, he will use you for his own personal interest. And I don't want that to happen. The same vein, I advise you not also to go to the federal government, because your essence is that you are one organ of the Ijaw nation that can speak to power, be it the federal government or the state government. But if you become stooges to the federal government, stooges to the state government, you can no longer speak to power. And that's why I've told you that there are certain things we will discuss in camera, not in the public. Eyes on. Eyes on. We thank God for today. The commissioner has already apologized, that's why I didn't go to that again. It's not my idea, and those who know me, I am a time freak. The moment I have a time with you, in most cases I come to wait for you. I've had that from a lot of experiences. So when once we say, this is the time, I keep to the time. Unfortunately, the other program I had, we were supposed to have met here by 12. That's what I told my government officials. Then later they came to say, oh, the other program is starting by 12. I said, okay, I don't want to bring my youths to come and wait for me for too long. So 2 hours interval, I'll be through with the other program, and I'll be here with them by 2. A typical of a black man and his life. 12 o'clock, they refuse to start. 2 o'clock, they refuse to start. As I was preparing to come here, they say, oh, they have started. And it was a program I've already accepted to attend by 12. So past 2 was when I left here for that program. And that's why we came late. So it's not my way of life. And please, the ESCO, when you keep time, keep to time. Keep to time. And I'm sure that as we keep going, we'll be interacting. There is no way you can actually remove INC and IYC from Bayelsa State government. But my caution is you have to be careful so that you not become stooges of Bayelsa State government. Much as we know that the state government is the only state government that the Ijaw people have. In our time, we demanded for 3 homogeneous Ijaw states. We demanded for the Torebe states. We demanded for Bayelsa state. We also demanded for the Oil Rivers state. Those were the 3 memos we put before the state creation panel in the then military government. And if in the military government we can function to that level, why not now that we even have 1 of those 3 that we demanded? And so which means that we are still not where we expected to be. We are still being owed the Oil River state, which should be homogeneously Ijaws. Even from the accounts you are giving, our brothers in Akwa Ibom, they have balkanized them to Akwa Ibom. We brought them into River State. And so the struggle still continues. And that is why you are there. We must continue to demand for another Ijaw homogeneous state in River State and another Ijaw homogeneous state that is made up of Delta, Edo, and Ondo. So the struggle outlives you and me. We will all serve, we will all live. I'm happy today that at least in the whole of the federal ESCO, at least we have one Ijaw voice again. A man who is also very passionate about Ijaw issues and matters. And by God's grace, when Ijaw matters are concerned, I remove politics, I remove party. And I'm very sure that my brother and friend who is the Minister of Petroleum State is also like that. And so we'll be able to partner, we'll be able to see what we can do, even in terms of the request that you have put forward before me. If we had 3 Ijaw states, by now we should have been talking about 3 federal ministers. And here we have only 1. And so our struggle will continue. If our struggle is to continue, then we must be united. then we must be peaceful. There is a time that we got to the militancy and the militant struggle. We have moved away from that. And now it is shuttle diplomacy. Now we want to use our heads. And looking at you, hearing from you, and all of the people by you, I'm sure that you have something to offer to the Ijaw nation. Work hand in glove with the Ijaw National Congress, which is the parent body. And that was why, even at that time, we succeeded. It was through our own ESCO that the Ijaw Youth Council was born. And so I welcome you, and I believe that you will have what it takes to deliver your own bit of the struggle, because you can't finish it. Others will come after you. But the question will be, during your tenure, what did you do? During your tenure, were you able to bring Ijaw people together, Ijaw youths together? During your tenure, were you able to maintain the peace and the serenity of the Ijaw nation? And the moment those are your thoughts, then you are bound to succeed. For us as a government, we're already on it, working with the two very important organs of the Ijaw nation, the Ijaw National Congress and the Ijaw Youth Council. So we'll work with you. And we hope and pray that the Ijaw nation will grow from strength to strength. Nigeria is a conglomeration of ethnic nationalities. And whether we like it or not, we have seen at the federal level that each ethnic group that comes in, very sensitive positions are occupied by people from that ethnic group. That's what Nigeria is telling most of us. And as Ijaw people, we must come together to ensure that we are not shut out in the politics of this country. We must continue to stay relevant. Like the president said, we are relevant because of our oil and gas. But even at that, today, people are talking about the crumbs from oil and gas, which is, we are now reduced to security men watching pipelines. And we use that one even to now fight against ourselves. We are reduced as a Ijaw nation, as security men in the pipelines, and oil and gas that is on our land. Let's throw that one to them so that let them be fighting and be killing themselves. I don't think that that's what we should be looking out for. No, 1,000 times no. How many barrels of oil go out of Ijaw land? Why are we not interested in how many barrels that are going out of Ijaw land? How many of us have oil blocks in the Nigerian Federation? They give out oil blocks. How many Ijaw men, oil businessmen? How many of us have one? Have you asked that question? Why are we reduced to become security men on pipeline surveillance? Yeah, but I'm governor. I'm not governor. I still remain an Ijaw man, an Ijaw activist. That's what your council should be looking at. Not Ijaw intelligent youths Ijaw very good businessmen, now reduced to become pipeline, surveillance, security men and women. I think that the federal government should also have a rethink. What the judges are saying is not that we want to take it all. No. But let us be part and parcel of the oil and gas industry. That's all. And most times what happens is, okay, let us give their son, the Minister of State for Petroleum. And sometimes even before it is given, the hands are tied to the back. But I also know that there are those, even if their hands are tied, they will look for a way to lose their hands. So that they will say, was it not your son that was a minister? And of course, we also, we are an ethnic nation. So at the end of the day, you will also have some bad sons. They are always there. Those who will always sell out are always there too. The majority of the job people are good people, are straightforward people whose yes is yes. And the job means truth, and will stand by the truth at all times. And that's why people like Isaac Adakaboro died for the truth. And I'd like you to stand by the truth at all times. And your conscience will be clear by the time you end your exco, that you didn't go for money, you went to defend the interest of the Ijaw nation. In summary, that is all I've tried to tell you that has taken these few minutes. Once again, I congratulate you and thank you for coming, and our Ijaw nation will be blessed during your tenure. Our state Bayelsa will be blessed. And may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
That was the voice of His Excellency, the Governor General of the Ijaw Nation, and a true son of the Ijaw, charging the people to follow peace and the objective of the struggle, knowing full well that Ijaw means truth. Ijaw.
Anibara. All right.